Like this weird pause. You are listening to episode 122 of Paper Player. I'm your host, Tony, joined with Josh and Jeff. And JB apparently found the One Piece game, and due to some of the sizes in there, he has to regenerate. So,
yes, to regenerate.
That being said, before we get into weekly magic, connect with us on socials. The best way to do that is find us via Linktree /paperplayer. Like and subscribe to all of our things. Like and subscribe to our YouTube. We're trying to grow there, and then help us on all other social medias. We're trying to be active and help us grow. By us growing, you'll get more content from us, and more content means more wins for you guys in your books, because obviously we're the best Magic podcast, not close. So,
heard it here first, best in the world.
The four listeners, you heard it here. You guys are the 4 best players now in the world.
Yep.
All right. Jeff, you get any Magic in?
I did not.
Same.
I mean, I played a little bit on Arena, but I really haven't had time. I had to spend like 5 hours working on my car on Saturday.
Gotcha.
We finally got it fixed, so that's cool. But I had some like family emergencies I had to take care of, so I really didn't get to play any Magic too much this week. But this weekend I will be, because I'll be going to the Legacy event on Saturday for, I think it was Win a Mox.
Oh, nice.
And that's the one where everybody gets the foil Lotus Petal for entering.
Oh, cool, dude.
And then Sunday, me and Antonio, I do believe, are going to go to the sealed RCQ.
Sick, dude. Yeah.
I want to play in that. I do. Oh,
What, do you have some hippie festival again, or tattoo?
No, because I'm supposed to play
Saturday
music there. I got that show at that place at
the
Mana Vault.
That's not this
so
weekend.
That kind of came up.
So
I hit up Evan. I was like, "Hey, do you have time to make music Sunday?" And I was like, "Wait, do I have?" I knew something. I knew I had something, but I forgot.
Way to mess it up, bro.
You did it again and again and again.
What about you, Tony? Did you get any Magic in?
Nope.
I got Magic, and you guys will like this.
What'd you get?
So my friend Peter hit me up. He was like, "Hey, do you have time to play some Commander yesterday or whatever?" I was like, "You know what? This guy's cool, and I'm gonna go eat a bunch of his edibles." I went over and hung out with him, and ate a bunch of his edibles. So like we played like Commander, and like he plays CEDH, or like all his decks are CEDH or whatever.
Good.
And I tried playing Perforos at first.
Yeah.
And I got like stomped.
1v1 Perforos.
And then I tried to play the mill deck, and I was like, maybe I can combo him, and I got stomped. And then I was like, you know what? All right, this is the time for the Gitrog monster. So I pulled out Gitrog monster and proceeded to get stomped. Wow, if this isn't humility, I don't know what is. But yeah, so Gitrog monster maybe isn't even that good anymore. I got beat out by fucking Coin Flips, a deck I used to play.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
Heads up EDH is
I'm
weird.
excited. We're gonna play 4-player EDH tomorrow.
That's the real way.
So maybe I'll have better luck.
Yeah.
And then get my Magic gears greased before I go play on Saturday.
Is it this Saturday or is it next Saturday? Who knows?
It's
this Saturday, so I need to meet up with you on Friday and scoop the deck.
Oh yeah, I got you, buddy. We'll go over there. All right.
Probably go and play. I'll probably get some games with it on Friday, in between rounds or whatever, just to practice.
Yeah, it's a good move. Like, deck is fun. All right. So today's episode, we're gonna do the Doctor Who pickups. These are the cards that I believe that you should be getting from the Doctor Who set that you might be interested in. We can upgrade some of your decks. Rank the cycle. This is just something that gets the juices flowing for us to argue. Ache, the eyes bleed. Troll and Toad is out. The Judge program's dead. And we'll do a legacy deep dive on Bant beans and why you go into the bean deck. So, that being said,
You're missing news on there. You're talking about all these things that dead, but you forgot the news about something that's still alive.
I missed it. What was
I'll
it?
cover it. I'll cover it at the
Yeah,
end
you got it.
because that's actually what I'm also going to start doing too.
Hell yeah, dude. So the Doctor Who pickups, these are the cards I think that are actually good from that set. I know there's 4 commander decks that are coming out plus collector boosters, and looks like there's some cool cards. So here's a list of
I don't
them.
know what you see in this flesh duplicate card.
I treat it.
2-mana clone.
It's 2-mana clone. I just treat it as like a Phantasma image. So if your deck wants Phantasma image, it's cool. But yeah, so you have Everybody Lives.
Everybody Lives. I'm hot on.
Yeah, that's like the chase card, if you will. I think people really like that card. Flesh duplicate. I don't know, I think this card's strong. The vanishing doesn't seem to be a thing because if you're copying big bad things, that's really what all you want to be doing. And when someone plays a problematic commander or a strong one, you're like, oh, you have a Shieldred? I also have a Shieldred.
I have a Shieldred.
Yep,
My
Shieldred. Cyber conversion, which is blue, instant turn target creature.
This card's
face
kind
down.
of like this card is. I don't know how I feel about the cyber conversion card
Why?
because normally all face down creatures are just 2/2s. They don't have creature types.
Yeah.
They're just 2/2 creatures.
Yep.
And this makes them artifacts.
Oh, so you're like, yeah. This does not work against flipped creatures with double sides, though. So if you target a double-sided creature, it does not work. They can't be turned face down for whatever reason.
I don't like this card.
I think it's like a Pongify that's...
I
like
it. It's
what they like.
instant stop like creature combo.
It also like makes you have to like note that it's an artifact and all that shit. It's weird.
So where this is better than like Pongify and all those, it turns the creature, like if you target a commander and you turn it face down, you can't put it back to the command zone. It's still on the field. So it's one of the few ways.
Finally,
that,
a way to deal with a commander,
like
kind of like the prison in the moon and stuff.
Yeah, you're like, I'll put that face down, and now you just have a 2/2. Like, yes, the 2/2 is susceptible to
That's a
dying.
clever way to do it.
Yeah,
I wish they wouldn't have made it. If it would have just been 2/2 Cybermen without the artifact clause, it'd have been just fine.
Yeah, but more creatures, it still morphs and so forth. But again, you can target like problematic commanders and be like, all right, we'll turn this one face down. Nobody block this. It's a 2/2 vanilla. Leave it alone.
I buy a Perforos.
Yeah. And then Ominous Cemetery, which is a colorless land. It taps for a waste or colorless. And then it has 5 tap, exile itself, target creature's owner shuffles it into their library. So it's just like a removal land, if you will. It's pretty meh. Astrid's Path, this is a great food card. When it ETBs, it creates a food, and then also when it attacks, it creates a food, and then whenever you sacrifice a clue or food, it explores. So it's a 2-mana 2/2. I don't know if there's any food decks that exist, but this is definitely an addition to a food deck. Kraken Time, it's just white and 3 for an enchantment with vanishing 3, and then when it ATBs and at the beginning of your pre-combat phase, exile target creature an opponent controls until it leaves. So this with like a proliferate decks means it just every turn it's exiling something. Obviously when it gets destroyed, it's gone, but so be it. Don't blink. I think we talked about this last week, but it's blue and 1 for an instant until end of turn. If one or more creatures would enter the battlefield from exile or after being cast from exile, their owner shuffles them into their library instead, and then it cycles for 2. Nice card. Good for like reanimator strats, like and stop all that nonsense. Or not reanimator strats, blink strats for all those Chulane and those nonsense decks that blink all day. Flatline, this is a great card because it affects all your opponents except you. This is one of the blowouts with Elish Norn, so it's 2 in a blue. Creatures your opponents control.
This is like a... Oh, go ahead. Sorry, you're reading the card.
Yeah. Creatures your opponents control have base power and toughness 0/1 until end of turn. So
this is like a bad version of an already existing card.
Is there a better card than this?
Sudden Spoiling is a black and 2 split second. All creatures lose all abilities and become O2s.
Yeah. So the only difference is that your creatures still stay big. That's the only difference, right?
Or maybe Sudden Spoiling says opponent. I can't remember.
Maybe it's, I don't remember.
I'm going to look it up. But either way, it's just a blue version of it. So, I mean, you have a second version of it.
Yeah. It being instant's nice. So, like, when 2 people go into combat, you can, like, pseudo fog. You got Everything Comes to Dust, which is white 7s that convoke. Exile all creatures that share a creature type with a creature that convoked this spell, all artifacts, and all enchantments. So this is just like a kind of a big board wrath, and in a tokens deck, you can wrath everything but your tokens.
So real quick, Sudden Spoiling is 2 black and 1, and it's target player, so it doesn't hit every player.
Yeah.
So that there is differences.
Yeah. Perry
I'm gonna
Brown.
make a controversial statement here. All these cards you're picking are white, and white is terrible.
I know.
Wrong.
Well,
White is like
white and blue got a lot of upgrades this set, and all the other colors kind of got sucked into like a suspend theme. So I'm just picking out cards that like that you can utilize in other decks that aren't suspend theme. So Perry Brown,
Dude,
white. We'll go on.
No. Go ahead.
All right, Perry Brown, white and 3. It's your first historic spell you cast each turn, has Convoke, and it's a Doctor's Companion. It's a 2/3. I like this because you can make big dumb artifacts cost nothing by just tapping for all your things. All right. Another Auton Soldier, blue 4. So not all these cards are like hyper combative. These are just cards I thought they were interesting. Blue 4 for a Auton Soldier. It's a 0/0 when it ATBs. Copy any creature on the battlefield except it isn't legendary, and it's an artifact in addition to its types, and it also has Myriad. So if you copy a Grave Titan and you attack with it, you then summon a bunch of Grave Titans attacking. So
Put Helm of the on it.
Anything on it, you just get crazy. A lot of the clone effects in this set, and I'm not a big Doctor Who guy, and maybe it's thematic in that way. A lot of the clone effects have the caveat of it not being legendary. Again, it removes the legendary type from it. All right, Dalek Drone, black 3 for a flying menace 3/3, and when it ETBs, destroy target creature in opponent controls. Yeah.
Exterminate.
This one says elevate. And then that player loses 3 life. City of Death and the Flux. Well, City of Death are both. This one's a saga for a green and 2. The first thing is create a treasure token, and then steps 2 through 6 is create a token that's a copy of a non-saga token you control. So that way you can stop it from going infinite. Probably great in any token deck, and there's a lot of tokens to be made in this. So there's just like you get 5 copies, 6 copies of them.
And it's self-fulfilling too, which is nice. If you don't have tokens, you're just making a treasure token each turn, as long as you didn't crack the first one.
Yeah. The other one is Red 2, the Flux. It's a saga. When he ETBs, or the first chapter is deal 4 damage to target creature and opponent controls, and then the chapters 2 through 5 are exile the top card of your library. You may play that card in this turn, and the last chapter is add 6 red. Just kind of a draw engine for red. I don't know.
For red.
The Sisterhood of Karn. I love this card. It enters with a 1/1 counter onto it, and then it has an ability called Paradox. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, double the number of counters on the number of 1/1 counters on the Sisterhood of Karn. Obviously, this is like a food chain / squee. Yeah, well, it's like food chain / whatever. You get infinite. However big you need to make it, and then if there's any way,
it's crazy with food chain. Oh my god!
It's food chain and squeeze, so you just get like an infinite power thing, and then if you find something to do with it, you'll probably win the game. Also, it's doubling the counters, so
2 times infinite.
Yeah, you got it. The Face of Bo, 1 in Jeskai. I know we talked about this many episodes ago.
You could say it like Jessica.
Jessica. Tap, you may cast a spell with suspend from your hand. If you do, pay its suspend cost rather than as a mana cost. Activate only as a sorcery. So, I don't know what's like the biggest and baddest suspend card. Is there an Armageddon spend? Okay.
There is an Armageddon suspend. It's like a balance, actually.
Restore balance.
Yeah,
okay.
There's balance. There's not an Armageddon.
There's not like an obliterate one.
No.
For some reason, I thought there was. I know there's a Wheel of Fate, so that one's all right. This Last Night Together, I did not mean to put that on there. That thing sucks. I'm not reading it. I meant to be. There was the other one that gave your things Cascade. Cyberman Squadron. It's 7 mana. Non-legendary artifact creatures you control have Myriad, so it itself has Myriad, and then your Blightsteel Colossuses also have Myriad now. So how many ETBs?
Can you have more than one instance of Myriad on one creature?
Probably. I'm assuming if you have like 7 instances, like if you stack these, like if you made like 7 of them, yeah, probably.
Look, yeah, because when these attack, they're Myriad triggers, so you'd have more ability. I know they like leave at the end of combat or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird that they leave at the end of combat. the Master Multiplied, which is a
I like
Rakdos.
this card.
Yeah, me too. Red, black, 4. It's got Myriad itself, and the Legend rule does not apply to creature tokens you control.
And so many people get it so wrong.
Stops Myriad
I've,
from
like, gotten it
sacking.
Yeah.
Someone tried to tell me it doesn't work with Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And then triggered abilities you control can't cause you to sacrifice or exile tokens you control. So the idea is you attack with it, you get 2 more copies of it, then you attack with all of them, and they make copies, and then it kind of just like
Gets real out of hand.
yeah, exponential. Displace dinosaurs. Green, green, 5. Historic permanents enter the battlefield under your control. It becomes a 7/7 dinosaur in addition to its other types. That's it. It's a 7/7. So obviously this is
Going straight into the
Dockside.
cube. Oh my god, I love this card.
card sweet, dude.
Dockside, it's over.
Dinosaurs.
Now when
That's my
people play
background.
Dockside, instead of like fumbling around, you can just win.
Like, hey, you
7/7 treasures.
Yeah.
what's the you just get more
It
impact
should have been
tremors?
6/6s with trample though, is what they should have been.
You wanted, yeah. Sorry, that's not a Doctor Who thing. But yeah, this with a saga. So how it works is the saga becomes a creature, but or not the saga. Sorry, the battle becomes a creature, but it cannot attack nor block.
Our battles aren't historic spells.
If you had a way to make them historic, like if there's cards that say like everything comes in with artifact in addition to its type, kind of thing.
Like
Michael Synth Lattice.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
Because like I know a lot of people get that mixed up. They think all enchantments are historic, and they're not.
Yeah. So you have Time Reaper.
Dude, Time Reaper's sick.
Is this card cool?
I like it.
For some reason, I thought this got commanders. What's up, Hunter? How you doing? Whenever Time Reaper deals combat damage to a player, put target face-up card they own in exile to the bottom of their libraries. If you do, gain 3 life.
Probably did get commanders, but maybe the commander zone isn't technically exile.
Yeah, because that's like a free way to just add commander tax to people. I don't think it is. And then reverse.
No, it wouldn't add tax because tax only applies when they cast.
No, I'm saying like what I'm saying. You would put it to the bottom of their library, and if they wanted to go from the bottom of the library to the top of their library or whatever, or to put it back in the command zone, it'll cost them 2 more commander tax, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's not.
I'm pretty like again. I could be wrong. You could be right, but I'm pretty sure tax only applies if you've casted the creature.
So if you cast the creature, then it dies, and you put it. I thought anytime that you put it to the command zone, it adds tax. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Don't play EDH enough. Reverse the polarity. Blue 1. Choose a counter all other spells, which I thought was pretty cool. Switch each creature's power and toughness until end of turn, and then creatures can't be blocked. So it's just like a super counter spell that's got a ton of things.
But you can also politic with this because you could have someone with a big like group of creatures and they want like there's a problem at the table. You can be like, hey man, I can make it so their creatures can't block if you attack them with everything.
Oh yeah, or creatures can't be blocked this turn. So like they just go like attack. You have to wait till after they've declared attackers to make sure they don't like hoodwink you. Like, all right,
you.
Yeah, like do your attacks and then I'll cast this. And like, JK, I ain't casting this. Get blocked.
I got him.
Just kidding. Get blocked, fool. And Nano Gene Conversion. Choose target creature you control. Each other creature becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn, except it isn't legendary. There's a lot of things in here that do that. I don't know what the deal is with that. That's like a theme.
I think it's just because it's a commander deck and like a lot of these blue cards are coming out of the doctor deck and there's a lot of legendaries in that deck. So like
fair.
To make these cards work, they have to say that.
Yeah. Then you have Carvanista? Carvanista? I think, yeah. Carvanista. Loyal Lupari, whatever that means. It's got adventure. Humans you control gain indestructible until end of turn. And then it's 5 mana.
Green and 1.
Yep. And then for 5, or green and 4, it's a 5/5 Vigilance Trample Haste. Whenever it attacks, put a 1/1 counter on each human you control. So this is a pretty easy like addition to your size. Yeah, seems good. And then lastly, Cyberman Patrol. Of artifact creatures you control have Afflict 3. Seems good for 2 mana 2/2.
Agreed.
I like that.
Afflict 3 is pretty good.
Yeah, don't block my stuff, dude. All right.
Rank the cycle.
Here we go. All right, dudes.
Oh my god, really?
Right on time.
Yeah, all right. So rank the cycle.
Only 3 of these see play? Or well, I think now only 2.
I thought, yeah, all but the
Do
blue
they
one.
all see play?
All but the blue one
Right.
has seen play. So this is the Chancellor cycle from New Fire Exio, which you got Tangle, Forge, Dross, Spires, and Annex, and they all have like triple of their color +4, and then they all have a pre-game effect. So Chancellor the Annex has a pre-game effect of revealing it at the start of the game, and then the first spell your opponent casts, it's countered unless they pay 1, which is obviously a busted thing to do. The blue one, they milled the 7 cards, and then as an ETB of targeting an instant or sorcery from their graveyard, and then you can cast it without paying its mana cost. Chancellor of the Dross has a drain effect. When you reveal it, they lose 3 life and you gain 3 life, and I think it has an ETB, or at the beginning of your upkeep also does that too. Hold on. Yeah. The red one, it creates a 1/1 goblin, and then when it ETBs, you get to create X 1/1 goblin creatures where X is the number of creatures you control. And then the green one is just create a green mana in the beginning of your you may reveal this in the first main phase you have, you get an additional green mana. So, what's the number 1?
Well, the
Chancellor of the Annex. The white one.
Yeah, the white one's number 1. I think so too.
I think green is actually number 2.
That was played for a minute.
Which one?
The green one.
The green
one
was
isn't it like banned?
No, it was in Modern and Belcher for a while. They don't play it anymore, I don't think. But
No, but they've got
think it was
some
in-
upgrades.
the black one saw play in the stupid mono black deck that can kill on turn 1, but it's like awful.
Yeah.
I like the red one in EDH.
Well, yeah, the red one's good in EDH. Like, I remember seeing play in Standard for a little bit, and then I don't think it ever saw play in any Goblins deck in like Modern or Legacy.
There was a meme deck with it. I don't
think-
remember what it was.
I think it goes white, green, black, red, blue.
It's pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the black and the red one are interchangeable for placement, but I think blue has to be last.
This blue one is horrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Mill 7. Gotcha. Yeah. This cycle was pretty.
I mean, I guess if you have all 4 opening hand, you're milling your opponent for 28. But then you have 4 of these in your hand.
Yeah, what does your opening hand look like? These aren't
You better hope you have subtly.
These aren't archive traps, yeah. This should have been mill 13. Then it would
Agreed.
have been a respectable card. But 7 is probably the right number. All right. And then next cycle is the original Dragon cycle from Kamigawa. You got Yosei, Kaiga, Kokosho, Ryusei, and Jugen.
I think, well, I feel like the black one has
is
to be
banned in everything.
Well, no, it's not banned in EDH.
It's legal in
anymore.
EDH now.
Not anymore, but like he
is probably the
was
best.
banned in everything.
I looked at the price on Kokoshu. They're like $20. Even the new printing of it, it's like $20. This is like a very low.
Isn't the blue one up there too because of the game
And then if you
control?
go way back when to like Kamigawa, the white one was actually the one that people were winning with.
Yeah, that was the absurd one. That one, like, there was ways to reanimate it and then sacrifice it, and then just keeps making them skip. Like, you attack them for 5, sack it, go. They don't get it on tap step. You get to go, like, say, like it was one of the more annoying ones. And like how legend rules worked back then, you were able to like clone it and like kill both of them and double up the effect. But yeah. Yeah, I think Kokoshu's number 1.
I think
it is
white's
number
number 2.
Yeah. The green one's the worst. Like that one's like
Yeah,
The blue one's good too.
the blue one's up there too, though. Yeah, stealing because you permanently gain control of that creature.
yeah. Well, I remember like back in the day, like when cubes were like still kind of, unique in the sense of they weren't around. People would have like 4 of the 5 dragons, and the 5th one that was never involved was Jugen, just because its mana base sucks so bad. Like green,
Yeah,
3.
green.
Yeah, for a 5/5 flyer, that just pretty bad
Distribute
effect.
5 counters.
Yeah, greens had much better fatties to like distribute stuff, but yeah. All right, so black, white,
Blue, red, green.
Yeah, green's just horrendous. The red one sucks too, but yeah. I remember seeing that in cubes back in back in the day.
It's a board wipe on a creature. It's fine.
Except if they got except if they got a flyer, then it doesn't hit their flyer for some reason.
That's true.
It's super annoying. You're like, why didn't this just hit everything? It's like, well, red can't kill things in the sky. It's like, all right, that's it. I just wanted to show you this.
I hate it so much, dude.
Dude,
Oh
I
my
want
God.
to so bad. Hang on, I ordered the stuff. It's just on its way.
Yeah,
The ugliest thing I've ever seen.
that's rough. There's definitely you do some practice cards on it. My entire what's it called deck is this way too.
Your Talrand.
No. That one's different. That one's all foil. But like my pauper deck, it's like Ninja the Deep Hour and all that.
How are you going to disgrace Ninja the Deep Hour by doing that?
I have snaps that are whiteboarded. Look good. This is what like I practiced on my pauper deck, so I can get like good at it. And then Moon City Hacker.
Ugly.
The pauper deck I never play. I've built it. I've been wishing to play with it. Never gonna do it. Just want to make it hurt. All right, guys. Troll and Toad is done. I've never purchased cards from Troll and Toad ever. Have you?
I used to.
Did you?
I have only.
They used to be the cheapest place to
it,
go.
It gets auto filled from TCG Player or whatever.
Back in the day, like Troll and Toad was like the cheapest place to buy cards.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. I thought.
No, wait, dude. They've always been overpriced.
Well, I know Card Kingdom
Josh,
was expensive.
you say you've never
Back in
bought
the
from
day,
Troll
they were
and
just-
Toad, but you were literally the one that showed me how to buy from Troll and Toad back in the day. So I have no idea what you're
Back
talking
in
about.
the day, it was like they were cheap. They were still like expensive, but they were cheaper than Star City back in the day.
Well, this is before like Star City really was huge. This is back when like the second place to buy from was like right when Card Kingdom started up.
Yeah, and Card Kingdom was always expensive. Like
This is a bad thing to happen though, even though people think it's not.
All right, so Troll and Toad, they made a statement. The decision, they've essentially said, like, hey, we're going to stop buying Magic singles and sealed product based on a number of factors. They explained the primary one being selling Magic is simply not as profitable as it once was for the company, and other TCG products such as Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, TCGs, and One CGs were doing better. Another major reason cited by Burns, which I think is the owner of probably Troll and Toad, was that the constant reprinting of valuable cards and the number of variations of these cards made buy-list pricing difficult and sometimes resulted in buying cards at a loss as new reprints were announced. Troll and Toad's management was also spooked by the reprinting of the non-legal reserve list of the Magic 30th edition, anniversary edition, deciding to no longer take a risk to kind of get in there, and then so again, decided to no longer take the risk that WotC may do it again one day by not carrying the reserve list singles. So again, Magic's not profitable for the company right now, and so other TCGs like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Digimon, and all the other ones. So yeah, it's kind of just a consequence of, I guess, so many.
From what I understand, this guy's like a relatively newer owner of the business.
Yeah.
And he was a Yu-Gi-Oh guy. He's actually a Yu-Gi-Oh guy.
Okay. So Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess I think the biggest issue with probably Magic is, and it's a great thing for players, bad things for people who deal in the singles market, especially to a large capacity. The sheer amount of cards that get printed, and one being a desirable printing and the other ones being like not desirable, makes it like really kind of bad. Like Shieldred, I know that card's expensive, maybe that's a bad example, but Shieldred and Elishnorn had like 7 variations. I was like, God damn it, like what the hell?
Yeah, there's just too
Dude,
many.
the one Elishnorn itself has like 11 or whatever.
It like came out and like it was like, here's this edition and this version, and guess what? There's this version.
There's
and
like
this
24 of that with the fairy.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
The thing that sucks about the variations too is like there's like 3 of them that will have the same art, but they'll have 3 different foiling styles. Like,
Yeah.
so now you're making it even harder to determine which version it is.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the days where you would just open up like a worldwide box and you would be like so excited to open up a Jace, and now you're like, I opened up the Chase card, but it's not the right one. It's not the super cool division. Like, this isn't the right Ristic study.
The only thing that is good about it is that there's 7 different versions. So I feel like more tend to be opened, and there's always a cheaper version of a card. Like if a card's resting at like $40, there's normally like a $20 version that no one wants. Yeah, maybe ugly, but guess what? It still plays the same as the other card.
Yeah. So for like online vendors such as these guys, where they do like buy lists, where they send you can mail them your cards and they buy they buy things that come in the mail and so forth.
Yeah.
With cards like Doubling Season, they may have agreed to like, hey, you ship this out, and they have 40 boxes from different people that all have Doubling Seasons in them, and then they printed Doubling Season in the Commander Master Set, and they also printed it in his Enchanting Tale. It's like, well, we just bought this card at a huge loss, like, because it's no longer.
No, it's still the same price. The card's
is?
price has not changed.
Wow, I thought for sure it would have dipped because of the
It's
Enchanting
still
Tales.
$40. It's still $40.
Yeah, Doubling Season is still 40.
I thought it was up to like the 80s, but anyways.
It was beforehand.
Everyone
So
wants it, dude. I didn't do one.
Before the reprints this year, it was actually resting around $100.
God damn. It's one of those cards. So, yeah, I mean, kind of sucks, but like.
So, like, another reason this sucks is if a company like this, where like they probably have more disposable time and income to like focus on these kinds of things, chooses not to do this. What's this say about like smaller LGSs that are trying to sell singles? Like,
right. This is now is the time to support your LGS.
So with that being said, like most LGSs are pretty hip to this kind of stuff. Like they look at the new set, or at least somebody in there is looking at the new set and seeing that like cards are being reprinted. Like you could totally be like, oh, they just reprinted Doubling Season in this next set. I'm gonna go to my local LGS and just sell, because you have a $9 one in the case. You want to buy mine for $60, and blah blah blah, and then cheese it in that way. And then they're stuck with a card that they can't flip or sell for $60. But that being said, don't scumbag your LGS in that way, and still try to buy singles from your local LGS. I mean, I don't know if you guys use TCG Market, but there's a ton of card stores on there. So it's not like the singles market's going anywhere anytime soon, but goddamn, they like this kind of made me look at like all the variants of everything they print. It's like, Jesus, how many cards can we possibly get? It's hard to keep track of everything that's printed now.
back 10 years and you asked me a Magic card and I would know what it was. Now there's just so many.
Yeah, I think the Commander ones are the ones that I struggle the most with, and not playing Standard, I really don't follow any of those cards anymore. So basically, if it's not in a draft booster, I don't know what the card is.
That's fair.
All right. Judges are 10.
Hang on. Wait. Or you can do this. You can do this.
Okay. So there's an upcoming band announcement, and apparently during that band announcement, they're gonna be
the band is on Judges.
Yeah. So as of October 13th, so this Friday, they no longer have a partnership with the Judge Academy. That means no more printings of Judge things, or it's going to be a solo ran community. But right now, if you look at the FAQ, there's no plans lined up. There could be a new system or a new program coming out. We just don't know what that is. And obviously, if they need to keep it hush-hush, they're not going to reveal that. But judges, the Judge Academy, which is something that has like a collective knowledge for judges to use, whether it's a resource center or however you get to the next step of being at level 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever the tier system is, that is no longer going to be partnered with Wizards. It's still active. I just don't know how it's going to play out with your local like loss of the what are those called, Magic Cons. I don't know what they're going to be using from there. So if you need to see anything about the Judge Academy, the transition, they have a FAQ on their site that kind of breaks down. We don't know what's going on next, but it says like, hey, we're not ending this. It's just we're no longer partnered with Wizards. So I thought that was really bizarre.
Does that mean like they're going to be like almost like independent contractors at that point? Like
They'll be third party. Like they're not going to be. Like, I don't know what, like, the Magic Con's going to use, but unless they're coming out with a different judge program, which they're going to say, like, hey, we're going to do this instead of this.
Well, I mean, even if they're ending their partnership, technically, like, a tournament could still hire them to be judges.
Mm-hmm. it's still some form of authority of like, hey, you're in an L1 and L2 and L3, whatever that may be, whatever the levels. I think there's only 3 levels, or L0. An RCQ only requires, well, now I guess an RCQ really doesn't require any level because it's no longer connected to
Level
watching the
2
show.
is what I thought.
Yeah, but yeah, I think judges they do a lot for the community, and I hate that their support, even if it's like the dying cards they get are basic lands from Wizards, which is kind of a slap in the face from there, for their cool judge program. But whatever event that requires a judge for RCQ, like you can totally just like tack on $5 per entrant, and then just that money goes straight to that judge. Like there's no reason why it should, like, if an entry fee is like $30 and you can make it $35 and just give all the extra $5 everybody throws in just straight to the judge, and that's how it should be. Like that's how I would try to support judges in that sense.
I think that's a great plan.
Agree, dude. They should pay them.
Well, it's like what I would like to do for like a judge to compensate them for their time, because they don't get to play in the event, and yes, that is, I mean, they play an important role in the community, and then like their time has to be valuable, and it's also them giving up a Saturday or Sunday, right? So let's say if it's a 30-person RCQ, everybody throws in an additional $5. That person walks away, and I think it should be given to them in cash, even though the store might not do that. They get $150 in cash. Their gas and travel should be compensated, and their lunch should be bought. And then maybe the store throws them a booster box, because back in the day, like, judges used to just get compensated in like Magic product for like big events, and I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like,
I remember the Gen Con I went, or no, not Gen Con, it was a GP I went to.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was a level 2 judge.
Yeah.
And he said the choice of compensation, this was from Star City, was like 3 booster boxes for the weekend, or like I think it was like $250 in store credit for Star City.
God damn, dude.
They paid for the hotel rooms, but did not pay for the travel. And they stopped paying for hotel rooms a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean that's all right. That's something. Paying for the hotel room.
That's your entire weekend of working like 10 hours a day, dude.
Probably more than that, because you got to get there before, and then you get that's not great compensation. Like,
no. Yeah, especially considering back then booster boxes were like $90.
Yeah, here's 3 boxes that you got to go flip at a loss.
Yep. Or hope to God you open like the. Well, I guess there was more valuable cards and packs back then. I think
it's still just an awful, like, being compensated like not in money, in product
feels terrible.
It's the absolute worst.
Especially if like you have a job and you're calling off from your job, or like,
oh yeah, dude,
asking off to go do this.
Yeah, I implore that all local LGSs that are running an event just throw $5 on top of your entry fee. I don't think if any player is like, nah, I'm not gonna pay $35 for this event when it only should be $30. It's like, you can go kick rocks. Shut up.
How about this though? Like, I think that depends if you're like specifically hiring a judge for the event.
Yeah, of
course. A lot of the time, RCQs don't call for anything above a level 0. I do believe.
You can have your store judge do it, and they just gotta be.
Yeah.
You don't need.
So like, if they're already working, like I feel like.
Oh, that's
you're
totally
not really going out of your way.
I'm saying like you hire a judge to come in.
Yeah.
And do the whole 9, like he does deck checks and all that stuff, But
yeah,
agreed. That's a custom that's kind of gone away. Josh, what do you got to add? Because we're moving on from this.
I like the judge promos. I still think they should give those out somehow.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I think judge
because like they don't have to have a judge academy or whatever. They can still like. If there's still going to have to be some kind of judge system, there's got to be some kind of like way the Wizards recognizes them. They should still mail them promos.
Yeah, for sure. They were handed out at conferences.
I feel like if they're going to get rid of judges and they like leave it up to like the store or the company that's running it to like handle judge calls, I think judge promos will be replaced by like those store promos they're giving out, like how they have the Goblin King and the Lord of Atlantis. Those will be the things to replace judge promos, which is kind of disappointing because judge promos are always like really awesome cards. And doesn't judge promos have the ability to break the reserve list because they're technically like not reprint?
No, they fixed that loophole. Okay. That's how there was a Wheel of Fortune, but they fixed it.
Yeah, they've definitely done a couple of those. Like They tried sneaking in Mox Diamond from the vaults.
I remember
and
that.
because that happened, which is why your epicostal whatever falls apart in court because they've done it before.
Yeah, they've done it like
twice.
More than that. They've done it on Judge promos. They've done it on From the Vaults. They've done it on
Magic
30th anniversary, and they've probably done it an additional time from there.
I remember when From the Vaults Exiled came out and people lost their mind over
it was crazy because Mox Diamonds at the time were only $50.
Yeah. Or no, it wasn't Exiled, it was Artifacts.
Whichever one it was. Yeah.
Exiled's the one that came with Lackey because that card used to be banned for some reason.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. All right. Josh, do you want to go deep into your legacy, or do you want to
talk about whatever?
Hang on. I was gonna say you're talking about all these things that died, but Card Sphere got purchased by a new owner, so that's going to stay alive. Which is actually what I'm doing right now. Is I'm filling out my binder on Card Sphere.
I've never heard of Card Sphere.
I can trade. I'm going back. I think I'm going to start focusing on like my collection and keeping an online collection again. And trading.
Yeah, I've done that multiple times, and every single time the upkeep of like having to
update your binder and
I go
update
like,
online.
Yeah, fuck this.
I've gone in the opposite way. Like I have a binder, but like I don't even take it out of the drawer it's in. I've gone from like wanting to trade everything to just keep like getting new stuff to when I open all my Eldraine stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, these cards might get played. This gets played. We're going to put a play set away in a box. We're not going to touch them. So like I really never have. The only thing that's in my binder is all those Enchanted Tales cards because most of them weren't like 60 card playable because I just don't care about EDH.
Yeah. All my stuff stays in the box that I purchased it in. So like a set booster box will stay in the set booster box. And then the time that I'm like, oh, I need to go see if I want this card, I'll go over there, look for it. And I go, hey, I have one of these. Cool. And then just move from there. Like
I've got a...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, I'm good.
I was going to say, Antonio saw it and he was like, man, I need to do this with my playable cards. I took a 5,000 count box and it's got the 5 rows and that's all multicolor card or single, like it's Wooburg going across. So if I need like a white card, I have all of them stacked in one pile.
Yeah.
And then I have 2 more boxes. One holds artifacts and lands and the other one holds multicolored.
Yeah, I got
it's just so much easier, man, because I used to keep it in one box and I'd have to like siphon through the colors and it was just like, oh, this takes way too long, dude.
Yeah, I have like it's a broken system, but it's like things that I know
use like the card sorter for like the more important, like probably going to use these more often cards.
Yeah, so I have like a 5K of like rares that are just like these are bulk. Like I know these are bulk. These are just sitting here. Once this gets, it's like up to like 3.5 rows, 4 in a rows now. I know these are bulk. And then what I'll do before I get rid of it, I will sift through the entire thing one last time and pull out anything that I either desire or may have potential value, and then I'll ship it. And then there's like a 4K that's looming around of like things that need to be put away. And then I use the sorter. Every time I buy a box, I'll sort right away. Like so that like I have a Wilds of Eldraine like set booster right here. That is sorted in a way where it's like rares and whatever.
Uncommons and commons.
Just sorted that way and like cool looking cards, and it's just sitting. That's gonna go into the 4K eventually when I run out of space up here. And then all my playables just go in like a 1K. Like if you can see them, they're all lined up in a 1K like that.
Oh, nice.
So I have them all set up so you can see they're all by color, and these are like things I find truly playable. And they just sit in there, and then usually once a year I'll go through and be like, why did I think this was playable? And I'll cut it, and then I'll go back into the 5K. And then it just keeps going on and on and on like that.
So I know we've talked about FOMO before on here, but like I feel like I have that with like playables. Like I'll put something away when a set comes out. Cause I'm like, this has the potential to be playable. I'd rather just have it in this box than having to dig through for it later.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then I'll come back like a year later and I'll go through and I'm like, oh, I remember I thought this was gonna get played. It didn't get played.
Right.
And then I go to remove it and I'm like, oh, because too many times have I been burned with like I'm like, oh, this card's not playable, and I like either get rid of it or I put it away, and then 4 years later the card like sees play in some random deck and jumps up to like $50 from
Yep.
like 50 cents, and I'm like, god damn it, I knew I should have had this ready.
Yeah.
So I just put them in there. When I sorted them though, it's a 5,000 count box, and it's funny, the red row is like almost filled with playables, and every other color is like just below a third.
Yeah.
Just like, god, I've played red too much.
Right. Yeah. Like if I go through my 5K right now, I know for a fact there's 2 Kokoshus sitting in there. Like I know I have Eternal Masters bulk in there, and I think that's one, or Iconic Masters. I think that's one that came out. I know there's Iconic Masters bulk in there, and
yeah.
I know for a fact that there's either 1 or 2 Kokoshus in there, because I'm like, last time I sifted through this, I saw Kokoshus. Like, I know they're in there, and now that I know they're $20, like I'll one day when I need a Kokoshu, I'll go and pluck it. But until then, it's just gonna sit in a box.
What I really hate is, you said you had that one box of like random rares that like are bulk. I have one like that, but I just call it the EDH box because it's where you're gonna find all that random jank to put like casual decks.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I always get upset when I go through there because I get to like the Strixhaven cards and I'll see a green mythic and I'll think it's natural order, and it always ends up being channel because I don't know why they decided to reprint that terrible card that can't be played anywhere.
Yeah, that's like the worst feeling ever. Like, why did you print this?
It literally is only played in Vintage. You can't even play it in EDH.
You can sneak it into a queue, but again, ugly, stupid. Yeah. They should really refrain from like feel bad rares. Like, this is iconic. I don't care. Like,
I don't care if it's a feel bad like a bulk rare as long as I can play it somewhere. Like, you really think the common person buying Strixhaven is gonna be able to play channel?
Right. No, they're gonna try to play channel and be like, I don't even know what this is good for. Yeah. Exactly. All right.
Well, and like, I feel like the art on the like English one in the Strixhaven was really ugly, so I feel like no one in Vintage was gonna want to play it anyways, and no one in Cube is gonna, because they want a black bordered beta.
Yeah.
It's like, I would, if I had a black bordered beta, I would force myself to play Vintage.
Right. I don't think it's good in that format, anyways. All right.
This deck is dumb, dude.
Why?
It's dumb.
It's fun.
Like, I'm not saying in a bad way.
No,
like,
I know.
The fact that you can just play an enchantment and then you have a bajillion different ways to just like be tapped out and your opponent does something, you're like, I'm gonna draw a card and counter that.
Yep.
Like, Force Will literally at that point just costs 1 life.
Yeah.
It doesn't even cost the card because you're
Correct.
replacing it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So this is the deck that Josh is going to take this Saturday. This is the one that I 4-0'd with a what's it called, FNM, and there are variants of this that are 5-color variants, but this is a Bant deck, and it's barely Bant because really the only Bant card you have in, or the only green card you have in the main deck is Up the Beanstalk, but the rest of the deck abuses Up the Beanstalk with cards like Murktide, Triumph of St. Catherine, Terminus, Temporal Mastery, Force of Will. Those are all the cards that trigger Up the Beanstalk, and then it's your standard blue-white list, so you get to play cards like Swords of Plowshares, Teferi, and strong cards out of the sideboard such as Carpet of Flowers, Submerge, Terminus, and whatever else you have going on. But this is the deck I think Josh will be playing. I don't know if you're going to make any alterations to it. You might want to add, like, you could cut a Terminus and add a 4th Murktide, but really I like having the exit button. But why do you want? Well, go on.
I was gonna say,
quick question. I want to put a Jason here.
No, don't do it.
Doesn't fit.
It doesn't trigger Up the Beanstalk.
It's so bad.
Or did you get another Temporal Mastery?
No, I'm gonna keep it at 2. I think so. There's a lot more over this last 2 weeks. It went from like two Bant Bean decks to like 9 Bant Bean decks because I think more and more people are playing it. Now that it's kind of taken off, like the Haruyu event like discovered it, and usually when the Japanese come out with like a cool list, it starts to spread kind of a lot on Moto. So what was your question?
You said there was like some 5-color versions, but you'd rather keep it 3. What do they add from red and black?
Leyline Binding.
Oh,
And
so it's just to make
yeah,
leyline binding better.
Leyline Binding, Minsk and Boo, fourth or go forth airlings or whatever it's called, and
What is
Ziyori on
that?
pile. We can talk about it. I'll show you it. But why Bant Beans? Yeah, you get to play Swords of Plowshares. Swords of Plowshares is hot right now with
Yeah, and I want to play this Triumph
yeah,
card.
yeah. Swords of Plowshares is the shit right now just because there are so many Orcish Bowmaster decks, and the Orcish Bowmaster deck, the premier one, is playing 4 reanimates to reanimate Orcish Bowmaster. So like putting it in the graveyard is a real bad choice. Triumph of St. Catherine just lines up really well, and I mean you're playing all these cards that cost 5 or more mana, but the reality is they only cost 2, and you get the draw triggers off them from up the beanstalk. Yeah, and Triumph is just
Lifelink,
well,
bro.
the other ability is like pretty surprising. Like it comes up more than you think. Like you're like, oh, because you're a ponder and a brainstorm deck, so you can find that card pretty quickly. Like some of the time it'll be the 7th card, but usually if it's not within like your top 3 cards, you probably already shuffled off a fetch anyway, so it's gone. But there's 4 copies of it in the deck. Why play this over the 5-color version? Your mana base is easier to
Easy.
yeah, you just go like you need tropical island for the turn that you want to play a bean, and then aside from that, your tropical island's just there to increase your prismatic ending up to 3. If you need that converging up to 3 colors or sunburst, whatever the hell the ability is. And the entire deck, aside from Murktide, operates off of single planes and a single island. So like Blood Moons are like effective against you, but again, if you go island, planes, and then a non-basic, you can have a prismatic ending, tag a Blood Moon, and then set yourself up to go like Murktide. So you only need double blue once to get the Murktide rolling, and then a green a singular time to get 1 beanstalk. Now if you get multiple beanstalks, you get crazy. And then your finisher of both Murktide just closes games out. So the old like blue-white decks all used to use like Entreat the Angels, which was just like this really horrendous card to play because it was so awkward to draw, and doesn't pitch to Forcible. Murktide gets out of hand quick. Like an 8/8 flyer that you can protect usually just closes up most games, and it's like the backbreaking play against all like these other fair decks. Like here's an 8/8, the game's gonna end in 2 turns. You have to make a move. So the metagame right now, this is the number 1 deck probably, which is just Dimir Scam. Yep. It's got 4 Griefs, 3 Murktides, 4 Orcish Bowmasters, and 4 Trolls. The deck plays 17 lands. It gets away with that because it gets to play 4 of those Trolls. And then it's got Daze, Dismember, Drown, Lock, Fatal Push, Force Will, Lord, and Reveal, Brainstorm. So it's really a greedy deck, and you can abuse it because one, their mana base isn't great because they're playing 4 Wastelands themselves, and you get a lot
They
of.
have 6 land cyclers.
Yep, they have 6 land cyclers, so like you can get away like this is not something that's unfamiliar, but if you really wanted to get that deck, you could 100% Wasteland and Underground Sea and Surgical their Underground Seas and leave them with 3 lands that can tap 4 colors for the rest of the game. Like you can cut them from like playing their deck. Now the deck does operate off of cards like Reanimate and so forth, so they can kind of get away with a lot, but they won't be able to cast Murktides or anything of that nature. So that is a play pattern you can go.
Sorin's Ransom, is that the 3 mana spell?
Yeah, that card's
2 cards
hard
face down.
Yeah, that card when it's cast against you, it is difficult to make the piles. It's fact or fiction, but with if you look at the deck, the low density of lands, a lot of the times you're showing either a land and spell, and then you're hiding 2 spells, or sometimes they just reveal 4 spells, and you're like, God damn, this deck, like these are stacked piles. Like it's a difficult decision. Another thing in the metagame is Doomsday / your Storm decks. These are pretty obvious and great cards that they're playing. These also kind of dick around with cards like the One Ring, and then some of these lists play the Beseech Tutor now. Again,
Beseech the Mirror.
Yeah, Beseech the Mirror. Yep. Again, just your standard Doomsday deck. This is just something you're going to be prepared for. The thing about Bant Beans, you have 4 force of wills and 2 force of negations that should help you in that matchup. This is your standard Grixis Delver. This is just a Delver deck splashing Orcish Bowmaster. That's all it looks like. So again, nothing too crazy, but again, something you need to, like, these decks with their really low mana bases is kind of crazy to look at. Then you have, this is the 4-color version of Bant decks. So out of all the decks that you'll probably go against, if you run into this one, this is going to be the one that you have the hardest time against, because they're doing the same thing you're doing, except they have a larger swath of options game one. And their mana base looks atrocious, but with fetch lands and Lorian's Reveal, like, that's just no longer the case anymore. And Minsc and Boo and Uro are very difficult cards for you to deal with. And same with cards like Force the Airlings and that. So if you go against
don't you just Swords to Plowshares arrows?
You can, but I mean, you run out of those, and the problem is your Swords to Plowshares are not good against Minsc and Boo, so you have a bad matchup there. So if Minsc and Boo does land, like, you're in a bad spot because you have to find a way to attack it. They're also playing Force of Will, they're also playing Swords to Plowshares and Force Solitude, so like your end game threats are just gonna get bodied. And they're also playing up the Beanstalk and the One Ring. So, like, they just have so many angles of attack. And your deck is not necessarily, like, putting pressure on their mana base. And you're also not putting pressure on them from, like, a gameplay standpoint. So they're just going to go this really long, extended game. And you're also playing a Beanstalk deck. So if you're Beanstalking and they're Beanstalking, you might deck out because you're both Swords of Plowshares. Or you guys are both throwing Swords of Plowshares at the most relevant spells. So it's not an easy matchup. If you run into this, you're going to have a hard time. Your mono blue decks, there's multiple versions of this. Your classic Ancient Tomb decks, which have 4 Urza Saga and so forth. There's multiple lists of these. There's paradoxical outcome versions. Say it again.
They don't run the turtle anymore.
There's versions of this. I'm just showing, like, the most recent versions.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. This is just a version that's going to beat you with Walking Ballista because you're able to generate so much mana and off of paradoxical outcome. And then you have, this is a Death and Taxes matchup. They are all white-black now because obviously Orcish Bowmaster is insane. Orcish Bowmaster, just don't play into open 2-mana whatever. Again, this is a Yorion pile. Usually when they're revealing Yorion, it's going to be one of 2 decks. And yeah, they have Thoughtseize, they have Swords of Plowshares, they have Solitudes and Skyclave Apparitions, which work against a lot of your deck, but the name of the game is get Murktide down, throw every Force of Will to stop them from stopping it, or get the 5/5 lifelinker down because their entire deck does not line up well with the 5/5 lifelinker. And obviously be aware of Orcish Bowmasters. Then you get your Reanimator. Pretty straightforward. They're going all in on either getting Archon or Atraxa or Grizzlebrand. Any one of those, they're going to go Exhuming Tomb, just counter those spells, move on. And lastly, your lands decks. They usually beat you one of 2 ways. One is just straight up Dark Depths. They're going to use their Dark Depths combo with Thespian Stage, make it 20/20, or they're going to go a long route. And you want them to go to the long route because the short route demands an answer right away. If they go the Urza Saga route, you definitely have, like, get out of jail free cards in that matchup to kind of beat them, and it gives you time to set up. So, all right. So, the Dimir Scam Plan, right? This is their deck. This is the most common version of it. Most likely, they're going to be bringing in cards like Force and, well, they don't bring in Force and Negation, but they'll bring in Shieldred's Edict, maybe a Dress Down, and then Dothy Voidwalker. And because they are a fair deck, they're going to be boarding up Force of Wills. You're going to be keeping your Force of Wills in because they trigger, but the cards that you're going to cut, for the matchup, these are the major cards or the major players that you need to watch out for. Obviously, Orcish Bowmaster, don't play into 2 mana. Lead with Ponders if you can, because you can always play Ponder, bait out the Orcish Bowmaster, run into a position where you can Swords it, and then get your Ponder to resolve, and they're left with a 1/1 Mass Creature, which is not a factor in the matchup. Also, you have Daze in your deck, so you can use Daze to your advantage. Grief is just going to be a pain in the ass. There's no getting around that. The upside is if you do Miracle, any of your cards, all the Grief plays are kind of out the door, especially because a 5/5 lifelinker trumps their entire deck. And this is the card we were talking about earlier, Sauron's Ransom. This card is very difficult to play against. Yeah. It's cheap, and because, like, the ring tempting does matter to an extent, because it can make some of their stuff unblockable, because just so it's one of those, like, added effects that doesn't come into play, but when it does, you're like, God, this is kind of annoying. And then they reanimate. So your Reanimate's going to be a significant part of that plan, but because your deck has Terminus, Swords of Plowshares, Prismatic Ending, usually Reanimate's not a factor. So your sideboard plan is going to be board out your Force of Negations, cut a daze. You don't really cut a lot from this matchup because you're already geared to win in the game one, and you're going to be bringing in 2 Carpet of Flowers and a Veil of Summer. That's really all there is to it. You want to keep a singular daze in at all times, and the reason for that being is because you have Mystic Sanctuary, so you're able to bounce your card back up, put a Terminus back on top of your deck, put a Swords of Plowshares. You can rebuy your Swords of Plowshares multiple times by one fetching, getting a Swords of Plowshares on top of your deck, or whatever you need it for. So you're going to keep that. Carpet of Flowers is going to end that matchup pretty quickly because they have 3 lands that, like, they need to produce colors, and they have 1 swamp. So the rest of their decks that is colors oriented is that, and they have no main deck way and no sideboard way to deal with the Carpet of Flowers. So if you have an opening hand of just like Carpet of Flowers fetch, like, you just lead off with that, and that will dictate the entire game because now you won't have mana issues. Also can get you up to a 4th color for Prismatic Ending if that matters. I did get to utilize it in Kill or Grief with Prismatic Ending.
Nice.
All right, Doomsday. Pretty simple. You're gonna keep all your counter magic in. Take all your removal. Your Swords of Plowshares and Terminus comes right out.
Your removal, yeah.
You don't want any of that stuff. Bring in your Surgical Extractions because you can mix up their Doomsday pile if need be, or just hit key spells such as LED, you name it. Lavinium means that if you get this early, they have one of 2 choices. They can either wait to do it at the end of their turn or the turn they're going to pop off, and most players will go LED, Lotus Petal, go, and they won't go all off in one, but sometimes they do. And then Aether's Word Canvas keeps them honest because they can't do multiple spells in one turn. They can't do like a Ponder and then something. They have to choose their spells pretty wisely. And then Veil of Summer, obviously, to protect you from Thoughtseize, Griefs, and then Force of Wills or Force of Will effects and getting in counter wars. Like Veil of Summer is just like the trump and all that, so utilize that. 5 color. This matchup, I don't think you can win. You might be able to sneak some, but the fact that they get to bring in Prime or Pyroblast is pretty problematic, and they're also playing Carpet of Flowers too. It's just a tough matchup. I don't really know if there's a way to like. You have to like cheese them. Like they have to keep like a rough hand. You can kind of get away with it. But in that matchup, you're gonna keep some Swords of Plowshares in, but you're gonna take out your removal just because. Like, when you play Swords of Plowshares and they go, like, Minsk and Boo, it's pretty embarrassing in that matchup. Or 4th Arrowlings or whatever it's called. Like, you're just going to get bodied by those cards. And
That's
then
the one that makes tokens, right?
Yeah, it makes 2/2s and then become the Monarch.
Monarch.
Yeah.
I'm the Monarch.
You're probably going to bring in a Submerge because it's great. Carpet of Flowers, same thing. You're going to play that same game where you're going to try to utilize their mana base that is X amount of colors. Your Blue Elemental Blast is strictly just there to counter the 4th Airlings and their Minskin Boos. Those are 2 cards that you like have a hard time dealing with, and then Lavinia to stop them from playing like Solitudes for 0 or whatever, and also stop them from Force of Willing. And you might be able to get away with a couple Wasteland plays, but they do play Life of the Loam. All right, so I didn't have time to make more, but the next thing I was going to talk about is your Death and Taxes matchup. Basically, an Aether Vial is going to be the crux of the matchup. If they have an Aether Vial, you're going to have a bad day. If they don't have an Aether Vial, you can beat them pretty good. Cards like Terminus, excuse me, cards like Terminus are going to be key in this matchup, and you're going to honestly use your Teferi's as bait. You want them to Skyclave Apparition your Teferis. Yeah, like let them Skyclave your Teferis. They're not that important in the matchup. They matter to a degree because they can stop Orcish Bowmasters from getting you. But again, if they have an Aether Vial in play, like you need to make sure that your Prismatic Endings matter in that matchup. And then they have a few other cards that sort of matter. So Recruiter the Guard can be a really annoying one because it's literally a tutor for any card they need in any situation, whether it's Skyclave, Solitude, or Bowmaster. Also Lion Sash, which that matters very little. Hopefully they keep in their Thalia. Thalia is a joke card. But if you look at your deck, you have a 5/5 lifelinker that hoses their entire deck like heads up. And their Stoneforge plans don't matter to you because the games usually don't go long enough where they're equipping their Cauldron Complete. So when they Stoneforge and go get Cauldron Complete, you're just like, okay, like I don't care. It's not like it's a hand they'll keep, but it's not a play pattern that's going to matter just due to Swords of Plowshares and Prismatic Ending being able to get the Germ token. Like, you just don't care about that card. You want them to get that. If they get Umezawa's Jitte, a little bit different, but your cards are 7/7s and 5/5, so the likelihood of them having 5 counters on it and they haven't already won the game is pretty unlikely.
Don't forget that you can Prismatic for 1 white and hit the token.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, I was telling Josh. Yeah.
You can also just throw 4, 5. You can Prismatic for 7 and trigger up the Beanstalks if you want to. You can get crazy with that. You just put as much as you want into X. Again, Orcish Bowmaster is going to be problematic. Mother of Runes is a distraction. It is cute, and yes, it can turn off your Swords to Plowshares, but your Swords to Plowshares are going to be strictly for what's that card called? Does this list not have it? I guess not. Spirit of the Labyrinth.
Or you can only draw 1.
Yeah, that card's that card is a pain in the ass, but
this one's just running deafening silences. You can't cast more than 1
yeah, you don't care about that card. Whatever. If they don't have that, like, great for you. But again,
like an opposition agent.
Yeah, opposition agent might be annoying, but your Swords of Plowshares are gold in this matchup. And then you're going to be boarding in 2 additional, like, you're bringing an additional Terminus and a Supreme Verdict, because that's going to be your cards that reset the board. At any point that you Terminus, it's usually like a 1 for 5 or a 1 for 4. And the beauty of it is, like, you play a 5/5 lifelinker and they can't Solitude it, or Swords, if they can't Swords or Solitude it, you're going to be in, like, such the driver position because all their cards just match up really poorly. Now, they do have a Lauren that you have to be attentive to that can blow up your Beanstalks, but that's just the way it is. If they have it, they have it. Oops. Let me see if I can go back 1 page. This one here.
The St. Catherine Legendary?
Nope. You can have 3 in play.
Nice.
For some reason, it's not Legendary. Don't know why. Delver deck's pretty obvious. You've played Delver. You should know exactly what you're bringing in this matchup. The one nice thing is there's not a lot of boarding that you have to do. You're only boarding like 4 to 5 cards because, like, you don't have to board out 4 Force of Wills anymore because Force of Will is good with up the Beanstalk. There might be a matchup where you have to cut 1 or 2 Beanstalks, but, like, in those matchups, those are usually like your aggressive red decks, the ones that play Blood Moon on turn 1. Like,
right.
you don't want to be stuck with a Beanstalk in your hand. You want to kind of get them. All right, that's 4 color control. Artifact blue decks, they play like a combo deck again. This is where your Serenity is going to come in. Serenity is a nice one, and you're probably bringing Serenity versus other decks too, but that's just a 1 and a white enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, destroy all artifacts and enchantments. They can't be regenerated. This is a way to, like, clean the slate. You're like, we're getting rid of everything here.
Just remember, it does kill your Beanstalks.
It does, but if you have 2 Beanstalks in play and they're triggering, you probably don't need a Serenity. And if you have 1 Beanstalk in play, you're probably okay with just going like Serenity. We're going to trade these off. Yeah, Death and Taxes, Reanimator, pretty straightforward with Reanimator. Bring in your Surgical Extractions and Veil of Summers, and the rest of it's just going to be like, make sure you keep a hand with Force of Will or multiple Force of Wills and just say go, and usually you can beat them. Lands, this is a very easy matchup for you. Lands has always been really easy for blue-white decks. Yeah, he's probably not liking this. The reason for that is your Swords of Plowshares deck, and you have a Prismatic Ending, so you can stop their Mox Diamonds from accelerating them. You can stop their explorations, all their additional, like, things that they got going on, and they can't really combo kill you because of the Swords of Plowshares. Like, yeah, you can gain 20 life, and they also have a really, really bad time dealing with cards like Murktide, and then the Triumph of St. Catherine. Like, they really have to go for the I'm going to beat you with Urza Saga. And as long as you're, like, wary of what that card is doing, a lot of your, like, them getting Epiphany and stopping your Teferi is, like, big deal. But you don't have any other activated abilities, so, like, you don't really care about that card. And, like, just make sure that you hold up your Prismatic Ending to grab a Shadow Spear, because if you can prevent them from having Trample, like, you just don't care. But they do play Seer of Resistance, which can be annoying. But again, you'll see like there will be pivotal cards in the matchup that they're going to cast, and you're going to be like, oh, that's an engine. Stop the engine. Boom. And then obviously hold Swords of Plowshares for as long as possible. And then there's going to be a turn where you go like 2 Beanstalks, Temporal Mastery, and you're going to take an extra turn and draw 2 cards, and they're probably just going to go, I should scoop this up. So
Got it.
there's other things in the matchup, but like, I don't know. Overall, the deck is strong.
Good.
It's fun. I like up the Beanstalk a lot. Yeah, get some games in because you'll have to. It's been a while since I've played with Miracles.
Play through it.
Well, just Miracles. Yeah, I have to remember like drawing with Miracles again, the way that you have to draw cards, and then
I do that anyway.
yeah. But with your like brainstorms, you can certainly set it up like brainstorm on turn 2 to set up your triumph for turn 3 plays, and then you'll be able to like triumph and maybe have a what's called up the best like turn 2 plays up to Beanstalk because it just feels like you're invincible, and people just don't respect that card right now. It's on the rise, but people are just ignoring it for whatever reason. And I love it. They're just like, yeah, whatever. I was like, okay, well, game's on.
You can see his play in Modern now too.
The card's good, dude. Any format that has the ability to pay 0 for a 5 CMC spell, which is Solitudes, Furies, you name it, like it's just stupid. Bam. All right, that's all I got. I know I went on a rant there.
Oh, no, dude, I'm kind of glad you were talking about it because I know I'm not playing the Bean deck on Saturday, but I haven't played Legacy in so long, so I needed to kind of hear. Like,
what are you playing? What are you playing?
Ollie's borrowing me Gabos.
Goblins?
Yep.
Is it black red? It's got to be black red.
I do believe so. Yeah.
All right. Let me see. I want to go see a goblins list. It's been a minute since I've looked at goblins. It's got to be aggro, right?
Yeah.
All right, they exist. All right, fair.
I think it does have combo in it too. The Snoop combo, maybe
you
not.
Get 3 Mind Goblins. Are you playing those?
Oh my god, I have to play with stickers.
Mind Goblin, these nuts.
I hope he doesn't have this version. I have a foil Mind Goblin somewhere.
This is well, with Mind Goblin, you have a 66%. No, they're bulk. I have a foil Galaxy
foil, like the Galaxy foil Mind Goblins, or worth something.
I looked up. It's $2. I have one. I was like, because you said that last week. I was like, I'm gonna go look this up, and they're worth dog shit.
When they first came out, they were like $40, and then like literally a week later, they dropped to like $1.
Yeah, but this card's great because 66% of the time it produces 5+ mana. It's like the breaks are 4, 5, and 6. I believe. I don't think at least how the sticker sheets work out. So you might get a bad roll where it's like you only get 4 mana, but you're still plussing. But and the chances where you get 5 or 6, like you get to go this plus I don't know.
You get to choose the name, right?
You get to choose the stickers, but the stickers are randomized in the beginning of the game. You have to pick like 10 sticker sheets.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, all right. Aether Vial deck. This card's pretty sweet. This Horde Master is really good. Yeah, this looks so different from like how they. Well, I guess this card wins the game. No Siege Gang, huh? Man, times are changing, huh?
It's because Siege Gang costs mana to do his abilities.
Fair.
Sling Gang doesn't.
This thing's 30-some tickets, but $6 in real life.
It's funny too because I still like, even though Historic isn't obviously Legacy, I have Goblins built in that, and it's pretty much the same deck.
Yeah. Transphere, Fable, the mono red deck.
I'm sure I will go like 2 and 3. I'm mainly going because I want the
Lotus
Petal for Goblin EDH.
Pretty good move.
I looked it up too, man. I didn't realize Lotus Petals are getting up in, like, I want to say they're like $15 to $20 for regular ones.
Yeah. They're just not. They're from Tempa, so there wasn't. I think they haven't had like a. They had it from the vault printing that's foil, and then that was it.
The other reprinting they had is the mystery boosters, but like that set's so huge.
Yeah. God, mystery boosters. I don't know why they're tilting to me. Like they shouldn't be.
I think it's tilting because like they put so many good cards in there, but they put so many cards in the set that it didn't make it feel like a reprint.
Mystery boosters. I have it in the cube.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the one that you looked at.
This is the first time that you could ever get. Well, I guess there's this one too. That's $500. Pretty cool.
It only goes up. It keeps going up.
You have to just go like goblin. Like this is like not a card you can find. You have to find it like the hard way.
It's
it's the last goblin card you can find. I was looking this up the other day. What the hell?
Card?
Mind Goblin.
Well, it's just blank
Just
goblin. Oh God, where is it? I think
go to the end.
I did. I think I screwed up when I printed it the first time. I had to go. Now I'll get it. What the hell? Where is it?
There, you just went past it. Up. Up. Up.
Come on, Tony.
I could have swore I saw it. Yeah, there it is.
At least act like you
Name
have.
sticker. Okay.
You
Yeah. Yeah. So
Creature enters the battlefield from anywhere other than
name
the
sticker
graveyard.
goblin.
that's the arena version.
9 or fewer creature names.
No,
What?
this one?
The arena version. It's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know even why they put this on arena. It's like just leave it. Like who cares? Like, so yeah.
9 or fewer named name sticker.
Yeah, this is why nobody plays arena anymore because arena's for shoes.
Alchemy is awful.
No. Yeah. So is this lightning bolt.
Oh, that art's terrible.
All these arts are just like not
I
great.
still remember I was gonna get that one from JB, and then we opened it, and they were literally like circles. I was like, I don't want this anymore, dude.
Is it worth anything?
I like those, man.
Not bad. I'm a big fan of the Street Fighter fan. I really like him too much.
I like the Saban ones.
A huge fan
The
of
Japanese ones.
This one. Magic Player Rewards.
That was like the
cool,
OG
but
good
they
one.
feel like, I don't know, the art just feels underwhelming to me.
Bolt on some
Dang,
fool
I
in the
remember when
sky.
those were $60 a piece.
Those
I
are so
remember when
cool.
Those were $60.
Dude, weren't the cryptics like 100 at one point?
They might have gotten that high. I don't know. There's something like really cool. Like there was the Wrath of God, Damnation. The Damnation is probably up there, if I had to assume. I mean, I know like everybody in the nation got one.
I looked the other day. I don't have a playset of bolts that matches anymore.
That would be upsetting.
Oh, I don't care.
The Amonkhet Invocation. Yeah, these aren't bad. $40.
That's still pretty high for a card that sees less and less play.
Yeah, it's something about Damnation.
And it went from like only
Right,
having
it's
like
just like
2
a couple
reprints
speed.
to having like 7 or 8 now.
Yeah.
Wrath of God
Oh,
is super
should I
cheap.
open up my 30th anniversary and try to get this $450?
Why?
It's made up. It's made up. It's because nobody opened these things. So these cards are like
Dude, the Wheel of Fortune's like 250 from there.
Yeah, it's because they're not on the market. So there might be like 4 on the market, and they can basically set their price at. And anybody who's truly trying to collect a set of the 30th anniversary like has to
pay it.
Yeah, you have to pay because they just like so many people that bought them. Like I'm one of them. I just have it sealed because I was looking to draft with it, and no one wants to do a draft because everybody's pussies. So.
And now they just aren't they up to like $1,600?
I don't care. I'm just gonna forget about it.
No, I'm not saying to sell, but I'm saying the longer it goes on, the harder and harder it will become to find.
Yeah,
someone to
it's a waiting game, right? Like, who's the guy?
You gotta go to Gen Con, like join a group chat or some shit, or a group, and be like, hey, who wants to draft this?
Yeah, it's not an easy product to move. That's for damn sure. Like, it's not something I'm able. I mean, let's go to TCG Player and see if I can find it. Whoops. God damn it, put it over here.
You gonna get any of the Doctor Who stuff this weekend?
Nope. That, as Watsy would say, that product is not for me. I really don't care about it. Let's see if I can find.
I almost want them because there's good reprints in the Commander decks. They have Horizon lands, like slow lands.
Yeah, so they're like here.
Like 13.
That's like a cheap price, right? But
yeah, that's not terrible.
No.
It's only $300 more. But it also, these came out.
You can probably find it. You can probably get it for what someone paid if you go on Facebook.
Probably less than that, honestly. They're probably moving at that price, but like
What's it say for buy list? Listed, but it doesn't say
No, probably doesn't have
buy
one.
list.
Yeah, this is like a. They're getting up there a little bit. Like we're all waiting. Everybody's waiting for it to hit the 2,000 like to double up, right? And like,
Yeah.
I should have bought 2, but I mean, whatever. Like spending 1,000 on it felt bad in the first place, and then
Right.
like the Black Lotus. Like the Black Lotus out of here is worth infant. Because it's the Black Lotus. Where the hell it is. Black Lotus. What? Do they even have any listed is the question? I don't think they do. Oh, here we go. So this one's still... There's no listings on this, so it doesn't really... There's one listing of some guys for 3,500. And then...
1,000, bro.
35,000. And this guy is there's one on here. Couple.
4,500.
So if you open up a Lotus, if you gamble it and open up a Lotus, you make your money and then some, assuming you can move it.
But that's if you open it. Otherwise, there's the chance you open 4 packs and your best card is a Sarah Angel.
Yeah, there is that too.
Sarah Angel? You got dual lands.
Yeah, I mean the dual lands aren't great. They're.
I mean, 250 still is pretty.
The retro
decent.
frames. The retro frames where it's at. You can get down to those. That's medium. You get your money's worth back on those. But I mean, if you get 2 duels, like you get half your money back. But really, it's like you're just hoping to hit power. Like you hit power, you hit it. Like
I
that's
think the Underground Sea is like $500.
I think so. Let's see what I want to see what Time Twister is. Actually, Time Walk.
Time Walk probably. No, yeah, Time Twister because the EDH is probably worth more.
Yeah, if you hit any power in here, basically you're gonna hit.
Look up Time Twister. I bet you that's more than Time Walk even. Because this is the ultimate proxy for EDH.
The hell
That's Teferi's Time Twist.
is Time Twister one word?
Yes.
Well, I guess it is. They don't even have the other one listed.
Yeah.
Just this
Oh,
one.
they don't even have the retro one.
Yeah, so two
And that one's almost $2,000.
Yeah, and it's selling pretty good.
Hang on, I opened an old bordered Wrath of God, an Underground Sea, a Stasis, and a Fast Bond. So I broke even
Are you talking about from the opener? I mean,
from the sim that I just opened.
maybe they'll do a reel where I open it up, right? Pop off my reel.
Once we get to 5,000 followers on YouTube.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. All right,
Is
Josh, hit it.
Homemade Halloween costumes over store-bought. You heard that, nerds? Get out and make a Halloween costume.
Did you ever make one?
It's Wednesday, my dudes.
Did you ever make one?
Zivers.
Make it. Go
Oh, yeah,
spend
he's
money
done
on
it
a hobby
before.
other than cardboard. Actually, if you wanted cardboard to make a costume, that's cool.
I made a homemade Luigi costume when I was younger.
I did a homemade Vision costume like 2 years ago, and my cape was a towel. And then my girlfriend like painted my face red, and she had like, you know, those little gems you can put on like your nails and stuff, and she just put this tiny little gem on my forehead
Sounds
as
pretty
the
tight.
Infinity Stone. You remember all those memes with Vision?
No, I don't. I remember
It's Vision where he's wearing like the black turtleneck and like the necklace.
Yeah.
I kind of looked like a DIY of like what he would look like if he actually looked like Vision.
This was happening for a while.
I was legit looking at like makeup tutorials today to do like mushroom makeup.
This was like a meme for a second. I don't know if you guys remember this. The Sub-Zero jeans.
Oh yeah,
You just
I do.
see it, dude.
Right.